welcome to the program Political Viewpoint on
ASO Television. My name is Topsy Gimba. I sincerely apologize for really starting this program a little bit late. We had to really put ourselves together to ensure that things that we often do are done very well. Of course, from last week, precisely on the mid of last week, we've been talking about General Yakubu Gowon, the most respected Nigerian and Africa and even beyond, who marked his 90th birthday. This is one Nigerian that most generations, particularly the Gen Z, they do know about him until when this occasion came into being, and most people began to ask questions who the man was, though a very respected Nigerian, patriotic, and equally transparent in nearly everything he used to do when then he was the leader. He ruled Nigeria from the 1st August 1966, and they exited power through military coup in 1975. That was on the 29th of July, where he ruled for consecutively 9 years. When he left office, nothing was heard about him. He resigned to silence and then doing things the way he's supposed to do. In fact, he came up with this prayer body going around the country praying for Nigeria to remain one, because that was his focal point. And mid of last week, the planning committee headed by Professor Jerry Garner, being assisted by Professor Suleiman Bogoro, who was the secretary, and many others who served as media committee members, like Dr. Mike O'Mary, Timothy Gulu, and very many others, put their heads together to ensure that this occasion, the celebration should hold, and it was held, put together by the immediate family, his wife precisely. It was on the ground that we saw these events that took place each according to how they were planned. Until yesterday, we now saw, again, people gathering together within and outside the country to celebrate his leadership quality, particularly the biblical initiative. So we decided that we should invite a person who knows him very well, or probably must have heard about him and read more about him, to come and tell us how it happened until we could get to this point. And with me in the studio, I have Mr. Ishaya Yakubu, who shares some name with Gowon as well, or either the same name with Gowon. And he is the administrative analyst who is actually going to take us through on the activities that came to pass last week and until yesterday. It's a pleasure having you on the program, Ishaya Yakubu.
Thank you, viewers. Good evening. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to come and make some X-ray, analyze what had transpired within the week when in celebrating our father, our grandfather, the former president, the former head of state, Dr. Yakubu Gowon. A lot of things highlighted the events that took about. We started with a public lecture, anniversary lecture in honor of General Gowon, which was well delivered, excellently delivered by Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, the president of African Development Bank. He was there with a lot of his team of African Development Bank. He came in, and then it was a well-delivered lecture. Absolutely, he was an astute scholar who delivered very, very well. And many people were very, very happy with that, and he did very well. We thank God, and the team went up very well. Fortunately, we were underrated, thinking that people might not attend, but the ECOWAS Secretariat was jam-packed full, up to the brim, whereby we couldn't even have place to receive. And we thank God that it was a huge success. Sequel to that, we had a Thanksgiving service on Saturday by 2 p.m. at the Christian Ecumenical Center. And those of you that were there saw that the whole church was almost filled up. We expected, we were really overwhelmed, because the kind of caliber of people that attended that program, it was so vast, it was so well structured, well organized, and people were there to honor this man, great man, an icon, our leader, a man of peace, who have took us during the period of war, out of the war, and has come out being nothing. He decided to leave because of what had transpired during his overthrown as president. And then in the evening again, we had a nice time with a dinner banquet at the presidential villa, the banquet hall. It was also a very huge success. And honestly speaking, those of you that were there, we want to thank the media for giving us that kind of great opportunity to come and celebrate with us. And we really appreciated that. A lot of you make sacrifices. A lot of you came to honor him. And I believe that in times of honor too, when it comes to every one of us, people will rise up and to give us that same accord such gesture to us.
Wow.
And I believe that will be the best starting point.
That's very good. Really, I happen to be one of these persons that covered some of these events that have been set aside to succeed each one according to the other one.
Yes.
I had the opportunity of being at the ECOWAS Secretariat at the church, and even making an attempt to interview her.
Well, it was quite a hair. Intervening that time wouldn't be that possible because we tried to, because at 90, we would appreciate the fact that God has been so good to him.
Wow.
We would appreciate the fact that the grace of God has been sufficient to him.
Yeah.
At 90, he's not struggling to walk. At 90, he's not struggling to talk. At 90, God has really helped him. And sometimes he was managing. You don't take things for granted. There are things we must not take them for granted. You allowed him to he was really to become very much weak. I mean, he had a lot of events surrounded him. Sometimes he must play based on that, based on the capacity, based on his strength. And because at 90, he did hear what the person just said. 90 years, not a joke.
Cannot be joke.
And that is a joke. So those are the truth. But we thank God that God gave him the grace. Even as at Friday, Saturday morning was the the priest of his church, the vicar, went to his house to give him Holy Communion. Before at 8 a.m. when he was there already awake, and then 2 o'clock he went to the service. On Sunday morning again by 10 o'clock he came again for Thanksgiving service in his church, St. Matthew's Anglican Church, where he worshipped as his local parish. And we thank God it was a huge success. The governor of Plateau was in attendance, the chief of defense staff was also in attendance, and some friends came for that Thanksgiving on that Sunday. It was one of the greatest things. I'm sure yesterday we met, it was one of his greatest moments. And even yesterday morning again, he was already in this African Biblical Initiative Leadership Conference, which of course is the grand patron. I happen to be a delegate in that conference. The first year we were in Ghana. I went to Ghana. We went to Sierra Leone. I went to Rwanda. Well, the last one I went we went to Cameroon. We represented him. I went to Cameroon with him, with Professor Jerry Ghana. We went together. And then at 2019 we went to Kigali. It was supposed to be
Rwanda.
Yes, it was supposed to be host. Nigeria was supposed to host the 20th edition of that, but because of the COVID, you understand what happened during that. We had a very wonderful time arranging in all arrangements, but at the end of it, because of the COVID endemic, we had to shut down. While they say we prefer, the organizers said they should do a kind of a Zoom. But absolutely, those of us that have ever attended ABLE, it's not something. It's very interesting to meet together as brethren, to meet together and talk on issues. And that was why yesterday morning again, he was there, strong and healthy. And we have to appease him and beg him to go home. Let him go and rest, because we asked him that, look, he said he was okay. I said, no. He decided to go. He was supposed to be there today, but we advised him not to. Let him just rest. Yeah. Hopefully he'll be there on Thursday, because that's going to be the youth assembly, which of course is going to be very interesting. The governor of Plateau is going to be a special guest, the chairman of the occasion, and then we're expecting some of the two governors and the first lady to say what the sections want to address the youth. So far, we thank God. God has given him strength. God has helped him, and we pray that some of us at that age, because if you know those people that are out, if it's someone that 80 years, 70 years, he is always very weak, but his grace, his psyche is there. He speaks very well. He understands very well. His memory is still there. So that is the kind of grace we appreciate God for General Director. We really thank God for his life. We thank God for his humility. We thank God for that God has won you.
Honestly, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
Where were you when he was the head of state?
No. Well,
the time he was head of state.
When he started, I was not born. I'm sure when he started, but I'm sure at the timing of my ending, at least before he left, at least I
came to know when you weren't born when he became head of state.
At all. 1966. Yeah. That's why I know. Even when it was at the exit that we know, even it was at the exit that I get to know them. That was when some of us were given back. So most likely, maybe you are trying to put me in here to know my age now. But however, I came to know about him some very at the
So what did you learn about him as much as you weren't born when he was a military?
I was not born. I read much about him.
Yeah, so
I remember when.
What did you learn?
When I read, I had my dad was a military officer, was a soldier.
Yeah.
And he had some books on him about that time. So at that mid 80s, I remember there was day I was going through one of the book. I mean a history about General Gowon. That was when I went about all the his marriage, and I read it all through. How it all started. They started from Christ Anglican Church. They did the wedding. After the wedding, they went back to Zaria that night. That evening again, I understand. With Victoria Gowon, and they meant the way people were.
I thought the wedding took place.
It was in Christ Anglican Church in Lagos. After the evening again, I think they went for the took reception. I don't know, but that was how it was.
What you saw in the book?
Yes, I read it. They do that. They had all this event. It seemed it was seamless, and that was why that was one endearment. I said, I would like to join military.
Would that be the reason they gave you Yakubu? Is it your surname?
That is my.
Is it your surname or your first name?
My first name is Yakubu, and my second name is Ishaya. Now the issue, I remember my boss that I work with. Each time General Gowon is there, I say, don't ever bear that name, Yakubu. I will never call that name Yakubu. Because apparently two of them.
It will sound conflicting.
Yes, because even him, he called me his namesake. Hausa, how they call Hausa, there's something they call it, the name they call Hausa. And then.
Where are you from in the first place?
I am from Southern Kaduna.
Okay.
Now,
which part of Southern Kaduna?
I'm from Zonkwa.
Zonkwa, that's what do you call it? The local government again, Zongo.
Okay,
all right.
Why? So now, basically, that was what happened. And then each time you see me, you see, you're bearing the same namesake with my bosses. Number one, General Gowon is my boss. General Danjuma is my boss. All of them are Yakubu Danjuma and General Yakubu Gowon. And among the two of them again, General Yakubu Gowon, Yakubu Danjuma. Gowon. His name is Yakubu, and his friends call him, it's Jacob. The meaning of Yakubu in English is Jacob.
Okay.
Yakubu
in English is Jacob. Okay.
Now most of his friends, if you have read his book, they call him Jack. Okay. They call him, his friends call him Jack.
Okay.
Some people call him Uncle Jack. So that is Yakubu that they turned him from Jacob to say Jack. That's how most of people have got to know. That's his one of it. I don't know whether that should be his name.
Do you still have his peers still living today? Not necessarily in the military.
Well, I really don't want one. Some of them are alive. People like Edwin Clark, they're there. Okay. He was a commissioner during his time. Edwin Clark is of 90-something years. There was there. The one that I know, those are the ones that I know that at least they're still alive. Yeah, he told me one of his classmates, but he was, somebody, Ahmed Kurfi, he's from Katsina. They were, yes, he's alive. They were in Bariwa College together. Okay. Bariwa days in Zaria. They were together. They were all boys. Even though he had asked us to send him an invitation card, but he said, I know he will not come. But because of honor, that's how you respect friendship, you respect relationship that you have established for some years back. And they're doing very well. Absolutely, they're doing very well. We thank God. Some of them couldn't come, but at least they call him to congratulate him. Though some of them are very weak. Because some Philip Asiedu, they are part of him. Philip Asiedu is quite weak. He's not that weak, but he's not. Emeka Anyoku is there. They are still his contemporaries. So you find out that some of them, God has given them grace. I don't know whether they had, because I was telling whether they give you that military injection. Because when they call it military, old soldiers, they give them injection.
Could that have been the reason why?
I have tried to ask most of the military. They will tell me that there's nothing like that.
Okay.
Because when my dad was alive, we used to call him. They used to tell him that you have they've given you injection. This is. Sorry,
so that you could be agile.
But they say there's nothing like that because of the training they had. The training they had in the military school makes them to be agile, makes them to be disciplined, and makes them to keep to their words. So far, that was how I asked him yesterday, and I was just laughing. So those are the issues.
So like you just grew up and you read more about him.
I grew up.
So when you had a encounter with him for the first time, which year was it?
The first time I met him, I was in school then. I was in Kaduna. We came in for a program I was in St. Saviour's. They call it that Anglican Church, St. Saviour's in Kaduna. And that has been his church. That was where his mother-in-law, she was in the choir, same choir with us. So I was telling his wife that, like when
where's the wife from?
I was telling his own wife.
Okay, that's the general's wife.
Victoria Gowon.
Where's the wife from?
From Plateau. From Plateau.
As well?
Yes, and so I have a kind of close distance where both Southern Kaduna and Plateau where we were.
I know the proximity and culture is
very short. Yeah. So I met Mama. We call Mama Zakari. She was in the choir, very old age. And when the two of them are in choir, you dare not misbehave. There's Mrs. Sadoki. I don't know whether I've heard of him, Pamela Sadoki.
Yeah, I know Pamela Sadoki. Yeah.
I was first deputy governor, woman.
Yeah, in Kaduna State.
Our mother too was in the choir, Miss Diko, Mama Diko. So the two of them, they were the elderly ones in the choir. And when you are there, you dare not misbehave. When they are in that distance. So I was telling Miss the one that I know Mama Zakari very well now. She said, she was this time.
Are you Anglican too?
I'm an Anglican.
Okay.
So those are that was when that was the first time he came to, that was 1993, he came to Kaduna. And that was the first time I met him one-on-one. He came to the church. Where all of us,
Kaduna?
yes, came to the church. He worshiped with us. We were sitting at the other side. So they left the whole seat for him that day, out of respect. Yes, they left the whole seat for him. Then he said, "No, you should come and sit down now." Then he said, "Women used to sit here before, and men here. So why did you now?" You know, he always throw some banters on people, and that was the first time I met him one-on-one. And he spoke something in the church. He just read the church, he just waved, and then went back. That was when he started Nigerian praise. When he came to start that Nigerian praise. That was,
do you have an idea whether he has brothers or sisters?
Of course, he has
same
siblings.
parents.
He has siblings.
Are they alive?
They are alive. Some alive. I know in our church here in St. Matthew's, one of his younger brother was one of our very strong church.
Is he alive?
Captain Moses Gawan.
In the army?
Yeah. No, he was a pilot.
Okay.
He was a pilot. He still is in Jos. He has back to Jos. I know of Dauda Gawan. I know of Isaiah Gawan. I know of Peter Gawan.
Wow.
I know most of them. They are there. So and then there's some of his sisters. Mrs. I don't know whether you heard of James Audu.
Yeah,
James Audu was in NTA.
Audu, yes,
he was in NTA. It was the chance to meet.
Yes, chance to meet. Yes.
Yeah, he was. He married his younger sister too. So I know the family quite long because we know the church I attended now was a Usasa church. Most of them were Usasa. So I had very much privilege to have most of the history of General Gawan and all of this thing. So apparently when we met, that was the first time I met him. But subsequently, when I came back to Kaduna, Abuja, and then where by the virtue of where I work, one day we went for an event. They sent me to represent my guy in the event, and he came. Well, that was the first day I met him one-on-one, and I shook hands with him. And we're scampering to see who will snap. Somebody snapping. You know, that time is not like before when we had this kind of phone that somebody can snap. So I was looking for a camera, and somebody snapped me, and thank God somebody snapped it.
You are lucky than me. It was just last Thursday that I had handshake with you.
No. So we met with him, and then we snapped picture with him. No, I greeted him. I said I work with Jose. He told me yes, I know. But you know, say this is a big man. I have worked with the big men. I know that sometimes that's the way that's their normal routine. Whether they know it, they don't know it, they say yes, I know. So that picture I have to look for who snapped me, and then even though he sold the picture for me, I didn't even, but I paid because I wanted the picture, and I still have it. So that was where our first time that was the first time I met him, and then subsequently we now become a bit close, and then when he did his 80th birthday, that was when we now become that very close. My guy was the chairman who chaired this
who's your organ?
Professor Jerry Ghana.
Okay.
He was the one. That's my father. That's my dad. That's my mentor, my boss. So that is when we chaired, and then he now asked me to work. I was the one that worked on the secretariat at the 80th birthday. It was very, very overwhelming. I was going up and down, but thank God this time around it was well organized. We came to help us from all walks of Nigeria, and we were eternally grateful to them, especially the members of our church in Matthews, other members of the committee that jumped. It was a well celebrated, and everybody came out to give the best he had. We thank God for my committee were there in media, the Professor Bogoro, the Professor Ghana, even Professor Shehu, Abdullah Shehu. He's from Makanki too. They played a very good group. People came from Lagos. BC Olatilo Show was there, and all of them. The people came out to celebrate him, really celebrate him, and everybody came out all mind to work. I want to thank our people from the St. Matthew's Church. We have people like the Chinelu, we have the Cindy, we have even Namdi, Dr. Wuji were there, all of them. I was saying, and Alani was here last week. Everybody came out to give the best.
Dr. Namdi Wuji,
yes.
That's another man.
Yeah, so we really appreciate them. And I'm sure
so
the one who told me yesterday that he's very, very grateful.
Yeah.
He really is very, very grateful. He was really overwhelmed with the kind of outpour of dignitaries that came during the church service. Even though the reception we had its own issues, skirmishes, but we thank God we navigated out through, and it came very, very well. So we wish him another, I wouldn't say, do I say another 100 years? I can't say that.
It's possible.
May God give him
It's possible.
more years.
Americans are celebrating
yes,
Jimmy Carter.
may God give him good. You know the problem with old age
is 100 years now, the century.
The problem with old age is that when they are too old, they don't see anybody behind them. They become like small children. Yeah. They'll be crying every day. I don't know whether I've had that.
Yeah, sure. I had one with Betty just about 2 months ago.
Yes.
Who live 100 and
yes, when they are more than 100 years, they begin to.
She was not seeing any longer, but sure. she could identify you by your voice.
It's always like that. So, but we thank God. Let God give you to life a life that you live. 100 years is okay, but God should spare him and spare him well. Give him good health. That's
Honestly.
the ultimate.
Does he have memory loss at that age?
He doesn't.
Usually when one advances in age,
No. For now,
there's this memory loss. They call it dementia.
No. He does not. He doesn't have it. If they had dementia, I won't see him there now. You will not see him there. He's doing exceptionally very well. He knows people very well, and he remembers stories. He still gives us stories. When we met him yesterday, we think he was giving us some stories about when he was trying to build the Kata Bridge, and he told him exactly what happened. In fact, when they brought Abuja, he said he was the one that by far the idea, but Mutalamu implemented it.
Yeah, that was what I was told.
Because he would have taken it this on his own. He would have taken it to any part of the country. You see, that's how they kind of see selfishly. There's people that were not selfish.
But people will be thinking that because the northern pressurized.
No. There was no. He decided. He looked at it. He said, "Look, from a very true context, let me look at the middle of Nigeria, so that we can, because Nigeria was
Lagos was becoming something else.
Lagos was becoming too congested, and there was a governor in Lagos State as well. So it was a kind of a federal, and then there is state governor. So that's why he decided, no, let's see how we can liberate it, and then take Lagos, take Abuja. Take the country out of Lagos, and allow Lagos to operate on its own. He brought forward the idea and brought the idea to. And if you look at when he was overthrown, he couldn't implement it. But thank God that Murtala Mohammed came in and implemented
Honestly.
And then Babangida, and even what's his name?
Now remove it.
What's his name? Shagari did some idea to move to Kevi or Suleja. But Babangida came and
domicile that the way it is.
And today Abuja is there. I remember when he was telling me last time we were discussing, he said when they brought the Abuja, and then he went around Abuja, drove around, there was no any street that was named after him.
As at that time?
Yes. So now when I met Babangida, I said, come, Ibrahim, is it that we were the one that fought the idea of bringing the
nation's capital to this place?
And then you have named
everywhere.
the street after everybody. Is it me that you cannot name it after him? And then that was when immediately that evening, Babangida now named from the villa, from the pilot gate to La Sokoro and go and
that crescent.
Come Yakubu Gawan Crescent. That was when he now named it as Yakubu Gawan Crescent.
He really deserves it.
So of course, because I see some people that are quite small and they give them big streets. So those are the people that we must celebrate our heroes. We must celebrate those who live. The Nnamdi Azikiwe, suppose. He had at least a very big edifice. The airport is named after him, which is worthy to be celebrated. Murtala Mohammed is there. Tafawa Balewa is there. Amadou Bello is there. Who was that CBN governor too? Somebody, Isong. Clement Isong. Most of them, we have a kind of a comparatively unified Nigeria that everybody must be celebrated. Everybody belongs. Everybody owns anything. So I think for now we are.
Compare this celebration and the one you had in 1990 when he was 80, when he turned.
Yes, the 80 was that. It wasn't that. I could see the 70 was not much because people decided to celebrate him.
Okay.
They took him unaware. He didn't know they took him unaware. The 82 wanted to take him unaware, but it was not. The wife wanted us to do him a kind of surprise birthday letter. Unfortunately, letters went out. People were calling him. I've seen your letter of a birthday. May God take us that day. So that was how it now be. He didn't even know. People were calling him then. They didn't now. You have to lose the cart before the horse. And then he now calls, was anything happening? At the end, they now have to tell him the truth. I remember that day when Prof went to tell him, he said, people have staged a coup. You and my wife have staged the coup. You plot the coup against me. So, and at the end of it, we decided to make him, to inform him that this is what we're doing. And it went well, but we learned from our mistakes. Thank God that we were able to improve on that. And thank God that it was not one person that organized. So it was a kind of an individual that did that. But now a lot of hands came into it. From the military, higher military, retired military officers. The General Martin Luther we were there. General Shaibami was there. Alpha was there. So it couldn't have been less than what we saw. He gave us the best. And we pray that God will take him to 100.
Honestly.
We celebrate him again.
What kind of food does he like eating? Because the other day at ECOWAS, I saw His Eminence, Sultan of Sokoto, saying that he used to know him like taking Hura the no.
Yeah.
That's the cow milk.
Well, the cow
milk. And he said he has even brought it, that he's going to take it to his house.
Yes.
I believe that this is one of the things he likes most. But what are those things?
Well, I don't know. I know he likes food. I don't know much of the. I know he like. I wouldn't say I know this, but I know it. But I know he loved granite.
Okay, he eats groundnut.
He loves groundnut. You know, Angasman. You know, Angasman they like groundnut. That's what somebody did. Angasman does.
You must have done that.
Yeah. So I think those are apparently I know, but those are things I know. Every time I see him taking those things. So he's somebody. I'm sure he selects kind of the food he eats, because the good thing about people that are there with their spouses, that they advise you on what to do, and you have some good doctors, they advise you on what to take. But apparently, everybody likes it. Those people of us that they don't care, they eat anyhow, anything they eat it. But at least there's moderation. They just take as little as they can. That will be able to sustain the stomach can be able to work, and then they won't go excess and take it, and it keeps them for a long.
He walks without using any supportive stick.
Absolutely. Even every morning by 6 o'clock, if you go there, you see he's already
walking around,
going around this house. At least not less than at least every day he must walk for almost 3 hours or 2 or 3 hours. After that, he's going to have his morning devotion, his personal devotion, and then he's up to start the day. So you see how God has really given him, and God has given him. And thank God he's a lover. He loves God, and he loves small children. That's one of his constancy. Okay. He loves children. Anytime they are doing anything, you see, there's no way you pass here and then you see a child, you will not talk to them. You must, even though he was one. The other say, salute, or they salute me, or you shake hand, but that's the way he is. That's his constancy. Even the wife knows that's his constancy. Like during a church service, if he's in the church, and then during the offering, when people are going around, you know, it's normally they sit in front. Children, you will see them touching small children, they will pass them, touching them. And those who are...
He has grandchildren.
Of course, he has grandchildren.
Even great-grandself.
Well, I wouldn't know, but I know that he has grandchildren.
Why am I saying this? Because you have the opportunity, as much as you are working for Professor Ghana has access to...
Yeah, so but we thank God he gave
the elder statesman more than any other.
We thank God for him. He give us access. He give us... anytime I'm there, I go to his house. Anytime I go to his house, he just say, Keba Puni, are you a visitor? Come and sit down in that place now. So I cannot, I must appreciate them for that, and I cannot take it for granted. And his son, first son, his name is a friend of mine that we do.
What's his name?
Ibrahim.
Okay.
He's a friend of mine.
Is he in Nigeria or outside?
He was there. He came. He stays. He come in Nigeria. He go back to.
Okay, he's not in Nigeria. He's based outside.
But he shuttles.
He shuttles.
He touches shuttles.
Okay.
He sometimes spend 2 months here, sometimes 3 months, 2 months here. That's how it works. He's doing very well. We thank God for their life. We thank God that God has really helped them to bring their children up. And their children are people that fear God, they love God.
What age can you a rough estimate of his wife, Victoria, born? Should be 90 or 80?
No. I think in the next 2 years, maybe in the next 2 years.
She'll be 92?
She'll be 80.
Okay, she'll be 80?
Yes.
Wow.
Or next year, maybe next year, she might be 80.
Wow, they are lucky.
We thank God for their life.
They are really lucky.
Thank God for their life.
Because I'm just looking at General Yakubu Gowon with either the Pope or either the head of, the American President, Joe Biden. Joe Biden, it's about 81 thereabout.
Yes, most likely.
Well, even though he works, but he struggles to work.
We thank God.
The Pope, the head of the Catholic Church,
yes,
is even using stick to walk.
Yes, sure.
And he's 87, I guess.
Almost 90.
Almost
that's
90.
why I said longevity of life is God gift, is gift from God. And some people God stabilizes them. Even at that age, they're still okay. I have a grandmother that died at the age of 100. So still, she never lost memory. Her eyes were still seeing very well. And she was very okay. She walked everything. She does her bath. In fact, the day she passed on, she had gone to bathroom, take her bath, and come back.
Wow.
And then in the evening, she slept. She couldn't wake up again. And those are how God keep preserving.
Why would a person of this high caliber, highly respected, intelligent, who has this gift given to him by God, why did he decide to just remain silent all that long? That's one. And then secondly, why is he embarking on praying for Nigeria when he's supposed to be rested, particularly at this age?
Well, you know, sometimes the situation that must have in life, situation of life, could never lead you to do something that you have never expected yourself to do. Will you ever imagine Obasanjo would have, in any case, would have become a pastor? Because when he went to prison, that is why he now went all this now came pure. And today he's a very committed, and he knows the Bible very well. He reads it and he can explain very well. Likewise, General Gowon, you know, when he was overthrown, he left and moved immediately. Is it from Uganda? That
was Kampala in Uganda.
Yeah. That was when the thing happened, when they informed him that this is what happened.
That time I was still in primary school.
And then he now left, and then move on. And thank God that with the magnanimity of some other head of state, they gave me the air flight. But I took him to the UK. That is when he now want to sit down and look at his life. What do I use my life for? And that's how it will be for everybody, individual. That you don't give up in life, no matter how life may treat you. But sometimes you don't give up because you don't know where it will take you tomorrow. The moment you give up, it becomes hopeless. If when you give up, God can't help you if you are hopeless. And he went on and started school again from the scratch. He started from the undergraduate to the postgraduate up to his doctorate, a PhD. And I mean, so what else can we now say? It was not that easy for him. He was still very committed with the church, because I understand he was a people's warden. You know, in the Anglican church we have wardens. So he was a warden in one of the church when he went to Warri, and he wanted to be Anglican church. He was there. So he kept faith. He worked hard. He struggled, and God really helped him. Even when he was out of this, you know, when it wasn't about that call him back to even give him pardon, and then you see how he was being celebrated. And because he's a gentleman to the core. He's not somebody he's not a troublemaker. You know him.
Yeah,
he's very calm. And those that don't know him, when you see him, you see a lot of the similitude of humility in him. He was not just, he's a thoroughbred, and we thank God for his life. Till today, you can see a kind of humility. There's no way he will see you and stop you. It's not possible. And those are the issues. He went to that thing, and then maybe from there he came back and decided, maybe God spoke to him to go and organize a kind of an adventure that would bring Nigerians together to pray for Nigeria. And he started it. He called some people together, and then he started it. And today they are doing very well. Nigeria praise is there. Hopefully God spared his life. He's still good. Nigeria praise.
Do you foresee continuity by the time he leaves and exits this world?
He has a good foundation.
Do you see the continuity?
He has a good
members that will continue
yes,
with that Nigeria praise or pray?
Nigerian praise.
Okay, Nigeria
He has a lot of people that worked under him. He has no people that he has nurtured. He has no people that he has brought up. He has this thing. And I'm sure they would.
Some of these trips he made, was it on the account of being this Nigerian praise?
The one I traveled this no. You know, they invited Professor Ghana used to be one of the guest speakers.
Yeah, okay. Most occasions.
Now, first of all, he sponsored the trip by himself. But others, the subsequent ones, they sponsored the trip for us.
Yeah.
And they gave us accommodation and everything. And we are grateful to them. And those are we just thank God that sometimes when you hobnob with people that are intelligent, you benefit from that wealth of intelligence. You try to learn and you try to make up yourself available. You know, many a times when people want to work on that board,
you can imagine. You said his first son is called Ibrahim.
Ibrahim,
and he's not hard in this country.
Ibrahim is very humble. He will never, even though he's General is sitting here now in the function, you never see Ibrahim will sit at the back. Even though you will never see him going close, you will never see him close to General. You will not see him there. He will just stay at the back, and then that's the kind of discipline. Even the same thing with Professor Ganato. You hardly see students going close. This is my father. You hardly see students going close to him. This is my father. No, they stay from except we call them and greet him. And that's how. And we have learned so many things from them.
I interviewed someone that's somebody in Ghana. Does he have a child that is in the House of Reps?
Yes.
I had the chance of really interviewing him for a program like that. Not coming with him here to the studio, but on the occasion I isolated him and I interviewed him.
That's his son. That's Joshua.
It's
a House of Reps. Yeah. So you could see a lot of. They've transferred a lot of wealth, knowledge. They transfer kind of humility in them, and they read all those things are there in the Bible. You read them, and then you'll be able to match them with word. You don't need to. You could always see that he doesn't like people that are arrogant. You know, even the Bible hates it with this thing. So we thank God for their life. We thank God that they were able to raise children that fear God. They are able to raise children that love God, that love people. And that's how we should be. We thank God for their life.
So to what extent has his life transformed some of you? Or either the society in general?
Well, you know, in life,
And then is there anything he's missing, being the Nigerian head of state, military head of state for 9 years, which has got nobody? To the best of my knowledge, in the period that I've lived, I've never seen anybody that governed to 9 years.
Yeah, I'm sure what else will I say he missed? He has seen it all. He has seen the good part of life. He has seen the worst part of life. So you cannot tell him anything about life again. He had whole God. There's no way anybody that has passed through all this thing will tell you how life is. I remember I was taking my son to school sometimes years back. He asked me, Daddy, when you were in school, who used to carry you to school? Which car they used to carry you to school? And I told him, I just laughed about it. And I said, I knew we used to trek for some kilometers to go to school. Before he went to boarding school and then I stayed there. We didn't have that kind of lectures that time. So we have seen how life started and we have seen how it is again. And God help us to give us the best of it in the near future. That's our prayers. So if you have worked with those good, you must learn, you must be patient, you must be ready to learn. That's one thing with life, you must be ready. I keep telling you, you must be ready to learn. It might not be that easy, it might be easy, but if you are able to give yourself fully to Him, to that distance, you come out strong, you come out well, and you'll see the best out of it. And that's exactly where I keep telling people that this is the way we should go, this is the right way.
Does it have this care for worldly things, this mundane world?
Like what?
Let me use it in that way.
Mundane, like I should know, like
maybe
what
craving for one luxurious way of life.
They live their life for people. They live their life for people. You can give me money, and say that's how we share the money out. Those are people that can wear one pair of shoes
for so long a time.
Unlike me and you that we wear tomorrow we want to change. Those are people that wear the same wristwatch for the next 1 year. That's the you see in their hand. But some of us would like to, when you wear this one today, tomorrow you change and wear another one. Just like you want to just make the fashion. I don't think they have any much flair for all this kind of things. Except they have some small things they need. Sometimes some of them like perfume. They like perfume, some of them like perfume. Sometimes those are the little things that they like. But apart from that, what else has he not seen? Does he want to dress so that they will know him? Does he want to wear that so that we know him? He's already it's a household name.
I was looking at his fingers and I saw his wedding rings.
Yeah, it's a household name. It's a household name. So you don't need
we had a pre-event briefing.
Oh yes.
In his Yakubu Gowan Center, very close to.
Oh yes. I saw it.
Conflict resolution.
Yes,
sort of. And that was my first time because I used to know him only by looking at the picture and the name. But I was given the opportunity to sit very close to him, to even watch him. So as I said, let me study this man very well. He had this mustache like this when he was in the military. I was just counting nearly everything. When I saw his hand, it's one of the finger carrying the wedding ring. I said, at 90, can he remove this ring and rest?
In fairness, General Gawan is a family man. He loves his family. He loves his children. He loves his wife. He loves his family. He's a family person. He loves them. And he gives them the best that he could. The best that he could. And I know how lovely this thing like for his children, but most of the and you would always see when you see them, always see the way they interact, see the way they sit down, and then they have a lot of understanding among themselves. So he's a wonderful person. He's a very good father, and he's fathering very well.
You have becoming your mentor, your Oga. You are computer well, whatever.
You teach well.
You teach well.
Yes, I think when we were still in secondary school, we always hear
hearing all these things. Sure. So, have you been to his house in Plateau and the house where his father lived with him in Zaria?
Yes, I'm just like a family. I'm just like one of their family. I've been to most of the areas. I've been to his house in Jos. I've been to his house in Musasa. I've been to his house in Lagos. I've been to his house in Ghana. So somebody know that we're that. It's a father.
In the village on the plateau.
Kanki. Yes, I've not been there. I've not been
there. Okay, what about the one in Zaria?
I've been there. I've been there.
So how does it look like?
Just house. What is the house?
I think his father was buried there.
Yes, his father and mother were buried there.
Okay, in Zaria.
Yes, that was us. They were buried there. Actually, he's from Plateau. But those of us, and then we took us from Kaduna. We took him from Kaduna, and he became he lived in Kaduna. He got married in Kaduna. He said all the people didn't even know he was from Plateau. He's an ardent and just man.
And he goes there.
Yes,
sometimes.
Sure.
Pays visit too.
He pays very well. He knows he has siblings there. He goes there. He can see. He even speaks their dialect.
Yeah.
Sure, he does.
He speaks Angas?
Sure, he does. He hears it very well. He speaks it very well. In fact, very soon they have they're doing a program in the next 2 weeks. He'll be there. He's always a grand patron. The last year I was there, he attended.
Those people that perform this cultural dance at ECOWAS,
Yeah.
Were they from Plateau? Or?
Yeah, they are, yes, Plateau, the General, they were
General,
there.
okay.
The Angas were the one that used that horn.
Yeah, the horn blowing
Then
this horn.
the General, the one that danced with that stone,
Yeah.
were this thing. And then the people from Benue, the Swange people, they came in from one of the in-laws that brought them. And it was a very, it was a well structured and organized and a colloquium of celebration.
Honest.
And we were really proud of him. We thank you for all of you, the media that were there to carry all this live.
Thank you.
We thank Nigerians that came celebrating, and we pray that God will unite us more and keep us together so that we can have a better country. In peace, that we unite, our unity will make us be great. And we have to be patient again with the country. Since we're patient again, since we love Nigerians. We should be patient with Nigeria because Nigeria sometimes it's not giving us the best.
Yeah.
Most of the time, especially at this time. But let's watch and see how it goes.
I really enjoyed chatting with you on
you
television, live and direct.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Probably is it because you are from Kaduna? Like
Most likely.
thank you so much, Isha Yakubu.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we are gradually come to the end of the program.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I must really appreciate your time to be with us on this program, Political Viewpoint.
Thank you very much.
And I really enjoyed every bit of information you provided for.
Thank you.
And I believe this edition, one of the editions that most people want to watch maybe subsequently going forward because you have summarized everything, who the man is. And probably after he has lived and gone, because all human beings are mortal by themselves.
Mortal, sure.
That kind of interview can be replaced some other time.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's about the size of the program. Political Viewpoint. My guest was Isha Yakubu, administrative analyst. He works with Professor Jerry Ghana, coming to talk to us what happened last week to where we are today. And you listen to what he said, you watch him rather, when he said, we shall be doing that maybe tomorrow and some other time next week. My name is Topsy Gimbaya Horse. The program will continue subsequently and the news will be on your way at exactly 7 o'clock. So stay tuned, watching our news and stay bye-bye. See you again and happy celebration, like a belated one for General Yakubu Gowon at 90. See you and bye-bye.